Monday and time for another update. And today, it's a pretty serious issue to talk about. So I gotta quit smiling and get all serious. Anyway, the thing, it really is very serious, and that is the passing of a new act called H.R. 1955, which is the Violent Radicalization and Homegrown Terrorism Prevention Act of 2007. This act was recently passed through Congress by a vote of 404 to 6, which means it's almost unanimous. Now that you can no longer dissent. You can't dissent against the government and its policies, either in writing or by speaking. So that means you can't mobilize a group to protest anymore if they're protesting the government's policies. Anything that can be construed as homegrown. What can we do about this? I mean, this is basically robbing us of the freedom to right of free speech, and that's one of the last remaining rights that we thought we had. So it's like, if we ever thought that we would actually live in a free country, you can forget about that now. We no longer live in a free country. That immediately dropped in. It was kind of a good thing, because it's like, okay, now that you've had your reaction, now you got to, think about, okay, there's a reason for this. Because from the higher perspective, the perspective of compassion, everything has a value. And if it's got a value, it's a major opportunity to make a big leap forward in our ascension and change the outcome of the future, because just the way we respond to this act, how we respond not just now but in the future, can change the course of humanity. So it's like another Pearl Harbor or a 9/11. How we respond to this could radically change the course of humanity for the better. And so the purpose, from what I could see, the higher perspective of this act was to basically close the door to our old way of dealing with oppression and the loss of our freedoms. It is saying to us, you can no longer do it the old way, the old way is resisting, fighting against the government, protesting, organizing rallies. That's the old way. And it's now saying you've got to go inward. Well, we've got some help in that area to understand why going inward into our inner world works. You've got the movies that come out like The Secret, which are telling us that our reality is our reality because it is a manifestation of all the emotions that we have poured into the morphogenetic field around us, which is the mirror of life, or life, our reality. And whatever we pour in is what we manifest. So we collectively, based on that logic, that theory, we have manifested this act of oppression. And so it's telling us that internally we have behavior patterns that are oppressive to ourselves, to our souls, to our spiritual growth. And it's time to start looking at those and resolving those. So that the act is just a manifestation of that need to fix what's inside. And like I said, that's like, trying to, well, I can't come up with an analogy, but it's like you can't fix it externally once you've created it. To prevent it, or, well, you can fix it, you can resolve it, but to prevent it from happening, you've got to clear what's inside of you. Now, this video email isn't going to give us enough time to talk about what that is. I can do that on the next one. But all I want to do is make you aware that there is a higher perspective, and there's a different way of dealing with this act so that it no longer affects any of us. And just keep in mind that it's basically from the higher perspective, based on what I've seen, it is there to close the door on us doing it the old way, and the old way would have led to more of the old. If you react to what you've created by resisting it, you make it worse. So we could end up totally enslaved, by in a one world government if we keep going this way. So this act, from a higher perspective, it is the dark reacting to close that door to move us in the direction we need to go. And from 3D, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But people like Gandhi used it, and look what he did against a nation much more powerful than him, the United Kingdom. He freed his own country. So if he can do it, we can do it. And I will tell you more about it in the next update. So take care, and I'll talk to you next week.